Dads, mums, everyone, welcome. It's that time of the week. It's the wrap up. Dads, banter, the healthy stuff, and some random stuff to celebrate the end of our week. Roll it.
Welcome to Team Super Dad. Real dads creating their best lives ever. More time, more money, more fun. You are not alone. You're on Team Super Dad.
Hey, welcome. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. It is that time of the week, the wrap up. We don't know where you are or what you're doing, but we do know it's Valentine's Day this Friday. I'm pretty sure that is worldwide. And so you probably listen to this as a survivor, hopefully a survivor of Valentine's Day. But as always, my good, well-esteemed guest, Mr. Glenn, aka a dating dad, is joining us. Glenn, how you doing?
I am still getting in with that funky bass, that kind of slap funk, boom, ba-dum, 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 boom, 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 from the intro music. It sounds almost Seinfeld-esque.
Oh, and we were just talking about Seinfeld, indeed. Well, I did actually search Audio Jungle for funk and like funk, dance, how, and so somewhere in amongst all the songs I was looking to buy, up it came. I think it's even got funk in the name. But yeah, so if you've listened to the podcast for a while, you'll know that's been our introduction for the last 2 and a bit years. I broke through the 1,000 downloads / listens the other day, which actually after 2 years should be higher than that, but I don't know. At the very least, I'm going to celebrate 1,000 because it's definitely a milestone. And they say doing something like 27 is a number. You got to get past 27. We're already into the 50s.
Yeah, I used to record a dating podcast called Swiped Out, and it was only managed to get 23 episodes in because my co-host disappeared literally when coronavirus started. She just went off and just walked away from all public life. But yeah, I mean, we barely got through, I don't know, 1,000, 1,500 listens an episode. So we had a long way to go before we actually got up there in the ability to go on tour sort of stakes.
Yeah. Well, still 1,500 per episode. That is good. We are some way off that. Well, and listen, if you are listening to this, then pick up the flipping rope, guys. Let's share this with other
dads. Tell a friend, you know. Yes. What else are they doing with their time these days? Nothing. They should be hanging out with us, metaphorically speaking.
Exactly. So if you are listening, right, we're going to do podcasters first. If you're listening, go back into the app, click the little arrowy thing, copy link, and share the Team Super Dad podcast with other dads that you know. Indeed, mums as well. I know we have plenty of mums. I probably get more feedback from mums than I do dads.
Yeah, but what are they saying?
Oh, they're just saying they find it funny and they like the fact that we're talking about these things. And obviously I've got the more serious episodes that drop in the week. And then we have the wrap up, which is obviously hilarious banter. And
I had feedback from my mum last week, and she was like, "Glenn, that sounded wonderful, but I had to stop listening when you started talking about sex. It's not that I'm not that sort of listener." So hi, mum. Hi.
Well, do you know what's happened to Anthea Turner this week? I saw her trending on Twitter. Do you know what
she's being all ableist and saying things which some people should just know there are inside thoughts and there are outside thoughts, and all of Anthea Turner's outside thoughts actually probably should be inside thoughts. Just don't say them, Anthea. Just don't. If Anthea Turner and Right Said Fred are on your side, you're probably on the wrong side.
Oh, now I'm even more intrigued. But it's probably not that much fun. What is it, like Corona stuff or masks?
Yeah, it's basically ableism, and you know who should and shouldn't be getting care, and who deserves it, and you know fat people shouldn't be putting strain on the NHS and all this sort of stuff. And as much as some people might agree with it, you're not going to be able to explain that in any way, shape, or form. That doesn't sound offensive to some people.
Yeah. In a really well-balanced utopian society, you could have a sensible conversation without being judged. But the very fact that you're saying it probably means the average person doesn't have the intelligence to hold that conversation. I know a guy, Eddie. We'll call him Eddie because that's his name. And he like spouts off loads of stuff, like conspiracy theories, all stuff to do with like government and tax and space and you think he's just spouting off and like yeah whatever, and then he just hits you with stats and links, and I was like, okay, well, that is, I suppose, fascinating, but also I didn't really care that much.
Yeah, I mean, the more you have to convince someone your point of view is right, and when there's so much evidence against it, you're probably wrong. Not always, but probably wrong. Just like I never listen to anyone who says that Arsenal are a football team that are worth supporting. No amount of evidence is ever going to convince me otherwise.
Yes. Well, yes. Of all the Tottenham's sort of rivals, I've probably struggled most with Chelsea, and that's because I obviously didn't live in the belly of the beast. I also stood behind the goal when Tor Andre Flo scored 4, and we lost 6-1 back in the 90s, and that did burn an incredible burn on my psyche.
Well,
literally behind the goal.
The week we've had with football, I'm happy not to talk about football very much, even though it's a subject that is dear to my heart. I've decided that for the foreseeable future, until the Formula One starts up again, it's all about the cricket. Yes.
Well, we've done well not to talk about football too much in all of the wrap-ups. But you know what? I love it when you go to a business networking thing, or you go to a conference, and there's some random who starts his whole talk by talking about something that's just happened in football. Like that someone's won the FA Cup, right? And this was a real thing that happened. So he stood there, and he was a Chelsea fan. So he stood there, and he was like so chuffed that Chelsea had won the FA Cup. And he took up about 5 minutes of his talk and completely alienated. First of all, there are women, yes, that do support football, but in that kind of setting, you're probably going to hedge on the side of there's less women here that like football than not, than do. So he just alienated all of those. Then you alienated anyone that wasn't a Chelsea fan, and basically his whole thing was just doomed from that point on. I was looking at it going, "You dickhead, you absolute dickhead."
But with that in mind, I'm happy to move on until Spurs start winning again.
Yeah. So in terms of running order today, we've mildly failed, Glenn. We were working on getting some women on board.
Story of my life.
I know, that's about what I was about to say. But yeah, so our Valentine special is Glenn and I, okay? But curiously, we've got some comments coming in. Good. Someone says, at perfectly appropriate timing, we'll bring in one of our viewers / listeners in a second with his Valentine's point. But we are getting this crazy feedback, Glenn. I think it's coming from your end.
Okay, I'll turn my microphone off because that's probably the best way of me contributing to the show.
Oh yes, the ringing noise has now gone. So yes, our rundown today. We're going to talk about Valentine's Day, right? And so when you're listening to this, you're probably going to be catching it like we're talking to the survivors, basically. But Valentine's Day is a curious thing. I don't know, when did it get invented? We should Google. Whilst I'm rabbiting on, Glenn, you can Google when did Valentine's Day start for me, okay? Because it's always been this kind of male thing, or so it seemed, that men had to like just go out and buy cards and buy flowers, and the old classic milk tray advert, and the man swinging in his black spy outfit. But yeah, so where are you at, dads, and what happened? Basically, we've got are you prepared for Valentine's Day? Are you desperately searching Amazon for Amazon Prime available in 24-hour deliveries? Are you scouring your local supermarket or garden centre for lockdown purchases, right? Because you can't go anywhere else shopping. And what about getting creative as you stare into your kids' make and do box? Or maybe you'll risk the wrath of your partner by clearly presenting her with a petrol station card and obligatory box of crappy overpriced chocolates. I'm happy to say I don't think I've ever done the petrol station and crappy card. I don't think I've done that.
Yet. Yes is the most powerful word in the English language.
Yet.
But I have found out some stuff about Valentine's Day. Of all places, CBeebies, brilliant for finding stuff out. So he was a Roman a priest in the 3rd century who was basically they thought that soldiers would make married people would make rubbish soldiers because they were so scared about dying that their misses and all that they wouldn't want to fight. So they banned guys from getting married, but he used to marry people in secret just in case. They found out, they killed him on 14th of February. Sentenced to death in jail. But while he was in jail, he fell in love with a jailer's daughter. And when he was taken to be killed, he sent her a letter signed "From your Valentine." And that's where it kind of stemmed from. And the first Valentine's Day was in 496 AD. Education, knowledge is the bomb.
490 AD, after death. Okay. So, wowzers. As traditions go, it's hung in there.
We've been disappointing women in terms of Valentine's gifts for 1,600 years now. And I see no reason to break that tradition.
Oh. I'm just soaking that in for a moment there. You know, Romans, of all the things they did, they used to dip people in wax and then set fire to them and mad stuff like that.
Not all the time, just a few of them. You know, and how else are you going to keep a Colosseum that size warm? I mean, there's a lot of energy stored in a human body. You know, it's just the eco warriors of their time, really.
I just love the idea that they could invent sewage systems and roads and you know and water, how to pump water for all parts of the house. And then so next on the list, dipping Christians. Oh, good. I've been looking forward to this one. How's it work? Well, it's genius. You take a Christian, you dip them in boiling wax, and oh, well done, Claudius Maximus. Well done.
Maybe that's where the whole fad of kind of dripping wax onto human skin comes from, and the kind of sensual sexual elements of that.
Oh yeah, could be tied.
I'm telling you, absolutely 100% it's not. But
No.
yeah, I'm trying to create some sort of link between horrific torture and romantic get-togethers.
It's a good link. What do they call that? They used to be on the radio.
Segue.
Program,
Yeah,
good
segue.
Segue. I nearly fainted at the Tower of London once.
What on earth were you doing naked, dripping candle wax onto your skin?
No,
in the
I
Tower of
wasn't.
London?
My cousins were over from Chicago, and we were doing London stuff. And so they said, "Oh yeah, let's go to the Tower of London." So I've been multiple times, but I had a jacket on and a backpack, and we were standing in like the long corridor at early parts. And so they said, and if you look above you, right, and so you have to look up, and they talk about how they used to put people inside these cages and like so that like hang them in the streets of London to put people off doing dodgy things. And then so as I'm looking up, and he said something about, yes, and if you're like really unlucky, they would put a spike up through your anus inside of you which didn't kill you instantly, you just died a slow, painful death. And as I'm looking up, I really pictured this in my mind. I fully wobbled back onto the floor. That was hilarious. Because in that next moment, all of a sudden, all my family are laughing at me. So this deadly serious moment and being laughed at. Yeah,
I do know that Iron Maidens weren't real. Medieval Iron Maidens didn't exist. They were invented by the Victorians just to seem kind of more harsh.
Oh, good bit of. My brain's gone blank today. What is that when you propaganda? Good bit of historical propaganda. Yeah.
Yeah, they just liked kind of making things seem a little bit weird and a little bit archaic and a little bit brutal. So
can you imagine the job
minds
spec
of the Victorians?
A job spec. We're looking for a copywriter, someone with a propaganda background who's also absolutely twisted into torture. So preferably into torture, killing rituals and other such weekend hobbies.
Almost word for word, I've seen that on Tinder. But I haven't got any Tinder dates for Valentine's. I'm going to be woefully unromanced, sadly.
Oh, well, at the risk of torpedoing something before it's even started, I have been just tentatively chatting to an old friend, school type days lady. And yeah, she doesn't live that far from us. She's attractive. She's single.
Where's the catch?
Not really any catch. Probably the only catch is she has a black Labrador. And I have a kind of thing about dogs. I love dogs, absolutely love dogs. But if their poos are bigger than mine, then I'm like, there's a size limit of dogs. So and it's just quite a simple bar. It's like if they do bigger poos than me, then But we
It's
we
a
covered.
territorial kind of thing. Yeah, who's the alpha? Who can do the biggest crap?
Oh yeah, I'd never thought of it like that. Oh my gosh, it's an inferiority complex. Oh dear.
But yeah,
Okay,
no,
well,
so
we covered it.
if you say there's no catch, all it means is you merely haven't found the catch yet, and then it's about whether you're willing to put up with the catch.
Oh, of course. Well, my dad said, and he used this a couple more swear words than I'm going to. He said, they're all nutters. The best you can hope for is you find one who's less nuts than the others, which actually is probably good advice. Probably pretty sound advice there.
Definitely. So are you going to be getting her some sort of Valentine's gift then?
No, definitely not. Well,
No?
first of all, we've not even been on a date yet. Second of all, I'm not even sure she knows that she's in the running to go on a date.
In the running, like there's a queue of them outside or a competition,
No.
like it's take me out or something.
But no, Valentine's Day. Would I send someone a Valentine's Day card? I don't know. I'd probably, if I did, I'd make her one. I think. Would I? I don't know.
Okay,
It's a good
yeah.
question. I'm
Well,
on the spot,
I've got to say, yeah. Last year, I got the first Valentine's Day thing I've had since life changed. And in it, she wrote out the lyrics to Pulp's song "Something Changed." You know, when I woke up this morning, I had no way of knowing that in a matter of hours, my life we would change the whole way we were going, where we would be now if we'd never met. And it's an underrated romantic classic song, one of the most romantic songs I've ever known. It was one of the best Valentine's presents I've ever got because it was tailored for me and made for me, and it just meant something. It was good.
Definitely. But would that be sent to someone who you weren't actually in a relationship with? Would you use that as a gate, as a door? What they call it, a gateway?
No, nothing. See, nothing that deep because we'd been together, we'd connected really quickly, and we're really, really close at that point. But if you only just started seeing someone, then that's scary levels of.
You've got to be shallow.
Shallow
and cheap.
Well, not shallow. You've got to be classic.
You're
We'll say
fun.
we've got to be classic. You know, flowers, chocolates, and wine, or some. You know, just entry level romance, basically.
Okay.
And then you can build on that with something more special when you connect a little bit.
I was thinking of just a card like you're fit, nice rack. Let's go out.
How are you still single, mate? How are you still single with that level of romantic essence within you? I just don't understand.
Okay, so we've got to work on that. Maybe it needs to rhyme.
So
No.
if you no, roses are red. You know.
You're not fat.
No, there's so many things I should say, but if my mum's going to be listening to this, I need to dial it down a little bit.
Okay. So, right. So we're gonna. Okay. So this is. Anyone could be listening. They could have searched this podcast up. Valentines. Now we're getting into the nitty gritty. Okay. So, if you're not in the relationship, we can drop a card. What kind of a clue are we going to give? Are we going to say it's me from round the corner, or it's
no?
Or we're going.
It all depends. It depends on whether this is the kind of something you want them to find out about. So I had a Valentine's Day card a couple of years ago that was posted through my door, hand delivered, and to this day I've got no idea who it was from. And so that was nice. It was lovely for me, but like I've got to say, what's the point? Why would you do that? Why would you if you're sending a Valentine's Day card, then either you're doing altruistically and so it's just to make them feel good, which is lovely, but it's got to be part of a romancy wooing type thing. Surely it's got to be something where you're leading towards something. So you want them to find out it was you. So you've got to leave a clue or two in there somehow without being really obvious about it.
Yeah, like dropping a condom in there as well.
I mean, that's a statement of intent as much as anything else. Unless it's actually branded with your face on it, in which case that's not that subtle.
Oh, you go wine, condom, and a £5 for a taxi home.
I just honestly, you should be doing lessons in romance with Johnny. It's a thing of wonder.
I'm making myself laugh. You know it's bad news. If you're making yourself laugh, there's problems. Yeah.
Title of my sex tape.
So, Okay, so we're doing it. So, do you remember the days of giant cards? Do you remember like
Yeah,
Athena
giant cards
and
and
card
bloody
shops?
teddy bears.
Have you ever done one of those? I think I did. I think I did a big card when I was a teenager.
Nah.
I think I did do some on a big card.
No, because
Big.
if you get a big card, does that mean you've got to do big writing as well? Do you have to have a big marker? Because you can't have a card that's the size of a movie poster and then write in
Yeah,
a biro on it. Like,
remember them.
what's the point? And what's someone going to do with that? I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I'll be honest. One thing that really frustrates me about Valentine's Day is the fact, and this isn't hashtag not all women, hashtag not all men, but it's almost always the pressure is on the man to be romantic towards the woman. That's pretty much what it is. Romance is one way when it comes to Valentine's Day. You never hear about stories about a woman doing really romantic things for their men. And if you do, they're the exception rather than the rule. So that's one thing I bloody hate about Valentine's Day.
I do have a not for air Valentine's Day story, which actually is, if there's an example of generous Valentine's acts from your female person, and I have one. Okay, so
was that because it was Valentine's, or was it because you're just a beautiful man who someone would want to do that for anyway?
It was Valentine's Day. We were in love, and it was epic. We had a wonderful evening. A lot of fun was had, and actually quite a fair bit of preparation went into it on her part, and it was a complete surprise. So I did feel very loved afterwards. Yes. So
I guess we'll leave it there until the after hours version.
Yeah. But no, I do get that. You know, that Valentine's Day is, if it's anything, because I asked this week, I said to people, what do you love about Valentine's Day? Is it a load of bollocks? What do you want the opposite sex to know about love and romance? And that pretty much, and I should have asked a bit more of a debaucherous question. I should have been, or what's that word? Depraved. Yeah, I should have said, like, what's your most depraved Valentine's Day story? I might have got some better responses back. But yeah, pretty much across the board, I got back, it shouldn't just be for one day of the year. And I'll tell you what the women did say. Here's a good one. It's not actually answering your question. And maybe I should have asked this actually. 4 different women said in different places, it wasn't like following on from the feed, right? I posted in various places, said, don't get me a decent present and a crap card. Like
what?
Like a card that says, to Sue, happy Valentine's Day, love, Steve.
See, I've got to say, if someone was to say, look, you can either have a really nice card and an okay present, or you can have a brilliant present and a crap card. The present is the thing. The present is the thing that actually is going to last. The card, you'll read it, and then what? What are you going to do with a card? Whereas a present, you're gonna use.
True, but again, we're giving insights into our first of all our married journey, and second of all our current status, both of us single and divorced. The 4 women that responded said I guess actually pushed on the subject, that they probably said I'd quite like both. But what they really were saying was, I want some love and generosity and vulnerability in my card. I want to hear how much you love me.
So it's not about the card, it's about the words that are in the card.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. Yes.
Right. Okay. That makes a bit more sense.
Poor card. Well, caveat actually here. Poor card, nice words, going to be okay. If it's evident the poor card was purchased at the petrol station around the corner, then you may have to go big, double big on the words. I think better than the keep warbling on. I think this is the oven repairman about to tell me he's coming around in half an hour. You're gone quiet.
How about now? Is that any better there? Good. So romance is something that can be possible. I know one time, one thing I had no money at all. So what I did is I nabbed some coloured paper from where I used to work and hand rolled it into the green paper into stems, cut out little green leaves, cut out a load of red petals, stuck them petal by petal by petal together and said I'd made a rose, and then made that a dozen of those, wrapped them up, and then delivered them to my ex-wife's workplace, which was very weird, walking through London with a bunch of handmade paper roses. And I weirdly, I think it was well received, but I did feel like a bit of a cheapskate. But I guess it's about whether you're putting time in versus effort. So time and effort on that gift was massive, even though cost was low. Handmade paper flowers, paper roses, a dozen of those. And so I've done that. Yeah, mate, it took all day. But I didn't have any money for regular roses, so that's what I did. And I think a few years later, I made up for that by I did a treasure hunt around our neighbourhood. So local businesses all had a clue, and so she'd have to go somewhere and ask for a clue and go somewhere else.
You told us last week. You told us.
No, that was my marriage proposal. This is a different one. And this one, the last one was, I think the last message was pack your bags. But it wasn't because I was kicking her out. It was because I was taking her to.
That's the ultimate Valentine's Day.
Took her to Paris for the weekend, just out of the blue. So romance can be done. Guys are good at romance, and we have that ability. And I just think that I would appreciate every romantic gesture just as much as I'm sure a woman would in that situation.
Well, yeah, totally. Everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to feel appreciated, feel special.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Obviously, doing it on other days of the year, absolutely vital. I'd hate to be, clearly hate to be, sorry, not together. I'd hate to be not appreciated at all for 364 days of the year and then be like, you're the best.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to use up all the allocation on one day. Definitely. Romance is an ongoing thing. I think Valentine's is okay to remind you when was the last time you did date night? When was the last time you did it? It's a good checking point, but if it's the only checking point you got through the year, then you got to reassess where you're going.
Yeah, totally. I think a couple can go big on Valentine's Day with all those like boxes ticked. Like it's going to go both ways. It's going to I don't mean getting lucid. It's going to go. It's going to go both ways. We're going to both feel loved and appreciated by each other, and actually, it's going to be the biggest celebration of our relationship for the year. Mm-hmm. Here's a good question, right? Do we get blind drunk on Valentine's Day, or do we keep it like?
Sorry,
straight away, no hesitation.
As soon as you say, "Do we get blind drunk?" Everything after that, just like, yes, the answer is always no. You've got to be lucid enough to be there and be present and be part of it, and you never should be much more drunk than the person you're with, in my opinion. Anyway, if you're both roaring drunk, brilliant. If you're both sober, fine. If you're kind of there or thereabouts, then that's great. But wherever stage you're going to be, as long as you're both in that place, that's okay.
Yeah. I think that is as a man, that is definitely like an act of chivalry, is to gauge your drunkenness to your partner, and and especially if she's a wild one, then you can actually inside you're like, this is brilliant. She's getting absolutely smashed, because you're going to have a lot of fun. Oh my gosh. I mentioned this the other week actually about finding some fun women to hang out with, or meet some new fun women. Not that my old female friends are not fun, and actually that is the exact thing I'm saying, is that they are a lot of fun. I just don't get to see them that often. But then maybe I'm not that much fun anymore. Do I like getting drunk as I used to?
No, well, if you don't, then I'm like Dorian Gray in that I seem to be getting more and more enjoyable in that respect. As I get older, I'm fine. I'm literally not just maturing like a fine wine. I am only because I'm drinking so much fine wine. I think I'm just replacing the blood in my body with red.
So you're a good drunk. You're still a good drunk.
I've been told this. I'm not someone that I don't get angry or get melancholy or anything like that. Usually, if I'm around people, then it's just nice. I'm okay. I'm okay with being drunk.
Yeah, I'm a lightweight. That's for certain. And I've always been a lightweight. And but I have these magic moments where I can it's gone good. No, I've actually drunk loads, and I've managed to move from the drink I drunk too much of to the next drink just at the right time, not too early, not too late, like jumping from the beers to the spirits. When I went to uni, right, I didn't realize, first of all, I didn't really realize that I didn't like Stella. And also I didn't realize that Stella got you as clearly as drunk as it did. So, but when I was suddenly at uni with a load of Northerners, there wasn't really the option to ordering a Carling or some other lower alcohol percentage beer. So yeah, it was just Stella all the way. Although we did start drinking. Do you remember when Caffrey's was launched, and it was about 5% nutty juice? They used to have that creamy top that came on.
Yeah.
So we used to get Caffrey's and have a vodka depth charge in it. Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I mean the combinations we used to drink. We got one drink banned at local bars. You know, it was a cheeky Vimto, which is a snake bite and black. They got banned as well. Do you know snake bite and black?
Yes, snake bite and black. Cider and blackcurrant, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. And then also
cheeky Vimto what was in a cheeky Vimto?
Oh, I genuinely can't remember, but it tasted like an Alco Pop. That's what it was. And I do know that one of my favorite ones was Smirnoff. Basically, what was it called? Turbo Shandy. So you'd buy a pint of lager, drink half of it, then get a Smirnoff Ice, pour that in, and so that was like this super sweet lemonade type thing, and then you just be able to neck it because it tasted like a soft drink, but of course it was twice as strong because you got twice as much the alcohol in there. It was bad. And you know what, there's part of me that would kind of fancy one. I think that'd be quite nice these days. I might have to go get some Smirnoff Ice.
Oh man, like have a throwback night.
Yeah,
and drink all the drinks you drank when you were at uni.
Awful drinks, 2020, White Lightning, all that sort of good stuff.
A boat race, with a bottle of 2020. Oh, 2020. The red one has to be the red one, surely.
I think if you're worrying about what color it is, then you're doing it wrong.
But it's flavor, isn't it?
It's not. It's just sweet rubbish. It's just get it inside you.
I know.
Keep it in there for as long as you possibly can.
I know, but the red one, it was strawberry or cherry, whatever, was so much better than the apple one.
I'm gonna have to look into this again. I'm gonna have to do some research, some first person research.
Okay, so when lockdown's over, because if newsflash to people who haven't caught the last few wrap ups, which by the way, where were you? And go back and listen to them. Turns out Glenn and I, of the how many thousand miles are there in the UK? We live within about 3 miles of each other, so. As soon as we're out of lockdown, we can go and do this. We will have a live wrap up at something like the Swan the Swan's a bit serious, actually, isn't it? Somewhere else in Westmoreland that's a bit more debaucherous.
Yeah. We'll drink so you don't have to. We'll put in the effort and damage our own livers so that our good listeners can have access to this research. It's important.
Well, my pod deck, we can take on the road. We can literally do a Brockmire. We could do a live. Have everyone turn up. Be brilliant. Put it in your diaries, gang. The first weekend of
one question for you in terms of Valentine's stuff. What do you think is more important to be romantic at, Valentine's Day or your anniversary?
Anniversary. Yeah.
What? How come?
Because I think that's a date that's special to you too. Like as a couple, that is a date that's unique to you both. That's if you put yourself in that moment, in an ideal world, that day was just one of the best days of your life. So to put yourself back in that moment and to reconnect on that level, to think, you know what, no matter what crap we're going through, we not only were so much in love, but we had the best day. And for whatever's going on right now, if we can just focus on that and get back to that, then we're going to be happy forever. So yeah, wedding anniversary.
So beautifully said. So beautiful.
I should fart or something now, shouldn't I? I should just put an edge back on that. Talking of farting, we did a Joe Wicks video this morning. My fitness. By the way, Daily Sweat. The Daily Sweat is over in the Team Superdad group. if you go to facebook.com, obviously groups, Team Superdad, there's an everlasting post in there, which is the Daily Sweat. So it's like an exercise accountability thing. I had backache, shoulder ache problems over the last couple of months, plus winter, so I've been fully off the rails, but back on. And my daughter is basically the driving force behind that. So we've been doing Joe Wicks together, right? So we're doing Joe Wicks, and then my boy comes down and goes, "Oh, you've got to watch this." And so whenever it was Joe Wicks, if you search YouTube for Joe Wicks fart, there's this one of his mornings. The video starts about 10 seconds before he's thinking it starts. So he lets rip this massive fart, and it's just gold, absolute gold.
There's just I can't remember who, I was having a chat with some friends, and the subject of farts being funny came up, and all the women on the call were very much of no, they're not funny. There's no situation where they're ever funny. Whereas all the guys were just, they just are, and no one can explain it. But a good, well-ripped one at the wrong moment is cracking up. It doesn't matter how sophisticated you are as a person. That is funny.
I think women do. I think but it's like a closed shop. Like when they're together, they're farting and doing flipping, lighting them and all sorts. I think it happens. I think that. In fact, I do know some groups of women who, in fact, the very fact that they're all there together and there's no blokes means that they can actually do those things.
Though perhaps not on Valentine's Day.
No. Oh, here's a good one. Farting whilst being given a blowjob. That is a bad move.
Yeah. There's been moments. I remember once going out for dinner with someone, and I've got to be careful with my language here because I have young ears around. But we went out for dinner, and turns out the place maybe wasn't the most hygienic of places, and we are mid that activity, and that moment where the only thing I can think of in my brain is definitely don't fart, because there's no way of guaranteeing it will only be fart. And firstly, you shouldn't be farting at that stage anyway. No. But secondly, there are scales. If you happen to break wind at that moment, it's bad, but it's not the end of the evening. If it's more than that, then not only is it the end of the evening, but you're going to be on Reddit at some point with a description of what happened, and there's nothing you can ever do about it. You can't squeeze that toothpaste back into the tube.
No. But it could define, like, if you could come back from that and forge a positive relationship.
You cannot. No way on earth. If you've been together for 10 years at that stage, yeah, sure, fine. But if you've been together for a couple of months and in that situation that happens, just pack. Just look down, just apologize and get out of there.
The thing is, you're so relaxed. It's such a great moment, and you're just in the zone. But then what? You're just holding it in. How?
Yeah, you have to, or take a break. So
you've got to somehow get her away from the zone.
You say, look, I just need a moment. I just need a moment. Go to the loo. I just need to use a loo, and then go back to it. It's worth the break.
Okay, as an act of like gentlemanness. Yeah. Okay. So she says, "Where are you going?" And like, trust me, you'll appreciate this. I definitely want to be right back. Don't move. But yeah, okay. Yeah, I can see this. It's the lesser of two evils.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
The better of two paths. Yeah. Okay. Right. I'm gonna put that in my like flipping tips for life book. That's going. Glenn, you got to fill again because I'm being asked by the other man again. Hold tight.
Fantastic. Well, it's one of the things where you can. He says you just got to fill. I mean, firstly, that is the title of Johnny's sex tape. But secondly, he's left me with nothing to fill. So what I am going to say is Valentine's Day is fun. It's nice. It's good. But don't make it a be all and end all. But make sure the other person knows that it exists and you're going to do something. But why not actually put an un-Valentine's Day in a diary, just at some random point in the year, and just go to town that day as well. Maybe they can respond on March the 14th. If you've not heard about what March the 14th is all about, then I recommend you Google it, because for guys, it's one of top 5 days in a year. Top 5 days in a year. You got birthdays, Christmas, maybe anniversary, FA Cup final day, and then you've got March the 14th. So Google what March the 14th is. Top 5 day. Boom.
Oh man, I've come in not knowing what March the 14th is. Blimey.
You got to Google that stuff, man.
Right,
I just said it's top. So you got your birthday, you've got Christmas, you've got anniversary. If you've got anniversary, you've got FA Cup final day, and then you got March 14th.
Oh, definitely wisdom here.
This is knowledge that I'm not even going to charge you for. This is free. This is free. It's a gift from me to all you gentlemen out there and ladies. If you aren't aware of March 14th, trust me, make it a thing, and you can do whatever you want for March, maybe April as well. But just one evening of commitment. Oh, it's an investment. It's an investment of time, energy, and enjoyment.
Yeah, I'm looking for the origins of it, but it doesn't actually.
Well, it's about. It started off in the 3rd century in Rome. There was this monk,
and it was the top bloke at the monastery. He used it as a way to keep his monks like under control. So one day a year, he would let them have a release, literally, and the women from the local village would come and serve steak. Okay, good stuff. Do you think though? I hope this is the case. I'm looking forward to finding this out as I venture back into the world of relationships. Surely, women are now more like involved and more generous and more part of Valentine's Day. They're not just there waiting for.
Yes. I mean, it with the caveat that every woman is different and every situation is different. Yes, they are more involved. But as with anything, it's a societal pressure. There's a societal inertia that says this is the way things should be done. Just like men having to pay for dates, pay for the first meal and all that sort of stuff. As much as women say, no, I always go Dutch. I've been on a lot of dates and that doesn't happen very often. Sometimes women might offer and then you say, no, that's okay. And they never say, no, I insist. It's always, oh, okay. And so you end up wedging out, and so men are just the way things are, and there's a whole variety of reasons why that is the case. And it's the same with Valentine's. Yes, some women are much more likely to take part and to make it a thing, but it's definitely not universally seen that way. It just isn't.
Wowzers! See, I think I will. Oh no, that's just no. So on a first date, there's a definite expectation, definite good. Definite expectation that she will probably be thinking that I'm going to be paying.
Yeah, and again, this varies from woman to woman, situation to situation for sure. But there's always the thing where they'll offer to pay. But generally speaking, in my experience, at least 6 or 7 out of 10, at least, possibly more, either never offer or are happy to accept it if I say, no, it's okay, I'm okay to do that. And a lot of the time, if it's a case of, I'll pay for this one, you pay for the next one, they're happy to accept that even when they know that there's not going to be a next one. And that, for me, I don't like.
Yeah, so she should say, actually, no, there's no chemistry here. We won't be having a next one, and I will be paying half of this as a nice evening that's not going anywhere. Oh yeah, okay, right. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm going to be a disaster at this. I'm gonna have to get some serious cards on the table before we go a date.
Yeah, I've got a whole piece. I wrote a blog on the kind of the financial cost of dating for men, because it's huge, and there's so many hidden costs as well that you just don't think about. Let me bring it up, because I actually did some sums about how much it costs the average guy to kind of go on dates, because we know that women, in my experience, they talk regularly about the cost of getting their hair done, getting their nails done, getting kind of body grooming done, buying clothes, makeup. There's a huge cost for women that they bring to a date, and that's unarguable as well. However, one study said that actually the average man goes on 13 dates a year and spends £1,349 going on these dates. Now, I think that's low. That's lowballing it. So we live just outside London, don't we?
Yeah.
So just getting into London and home again, plus the cab to and from it's about 15 quid. Averaging out a new shirt every now and then, new pair of trousers or whatever, even if you just average it out at £20 a pop, that's already 35 quid. I've heard sometimes it's not, a lot of people don't want to just meet for a drink. They want to do something a bit more. So if you're going to a gig or something like that, then it's 30 quid a ticket. Then actually, that's 60 quid you're shelling out. And that's not unusual. I've taken people to gigs and to football matches and to shows and so on. It just adds up. That's 60 quid. Drinks, just a single cocktail in London is about a tenner. And you're buying at least, even if you split the drinks each way, at least that is another 40 quid, 45 quid or something like that. Then you got food. Even again, if they pay for half, then that's 30 quid each, maybe 60. So a typical date, it would not be unusual to see it cost anywhere from 110 to 170 quid.
Totally.
It's mad. Yeah. And if you like, I was for a while going on a lot of dates in a short period of time, my God, it adds up. It really does.
Yeah, prohibitive. Oh yeah,
totally worth it though.
Well, yeah, yes. I've chatted to a couple of other mates recently. They're even during lockdown. He's been getting action, or for me, first date, second date, and then it's like, oh yeah, she stayed over. I was like, okay, good work.
That's the 3-date rule. It's one of those things that I had to learn when I was starting to date. And yeah, the 3rd date rule is a commonly accepted thing, even though it's also universally slated as well.
So come on, Glenn, as we get towards the top of the show, enlighten us. Oh no, you might not be able to enlighten us right now with the kids there. Can you enlighten us on the 3-date rule?
I can go into all outline, no detail. The commonly accepted norm is that if by the 3rd date, if you want to go on a 4th or a 5th, by the 3rd date you should know whether there is any chemistry in that area, and that's the thing you explore after the 3rd date. If the commonly accepted thing is if it gets to 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th date, then actually then you don't know whether it's too late. You've kind of lost that initial spark and the attraction type thing. And one of the commonly things, if you go before the 3rd date, then it's too soon. It's not right. It's not going to be sustainable. So the 3rd date seems to be the time that a lot of people say that's about right. Now, of course, I say it's ridiculous. If you think it's right after the 1st date, go for it. If you think it's right, or both of you, that is, of course. If both of you think it's right after the 1st date, go for it. If it's after the 5th date, the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, whatever date, go for it. It's about what's right for you individually. But it does seem to be this pressure, this perceived pressure, that 3 dates is when the grown-up sleepovers happen.
Yes, it's either happening or it's not happening. This is going forward or it's not going forward. Yeah. But I've got a whole world of things I can say about dating as a dad. So maybe we should do some slots on that one day. If people have got any kind of how to date as a dad questions, I'd be more than happy to share my experience and research. Yeah, we'll do a little dating mini series. How about that? That's good. We will get some women on. This is definitely happening. We're getting some women on for once a month. We're going to get some women on to the wrap up. And we might have to, bit like Brookside after hours, Brookie after hour. We'll have a wrap up with women. ... And I'm going to get slated. Although I have to say, through some of my interactions, I can't believe it when you post, some of these obviously like single parent groups and parent groups, and I've been asking around the internet this week about Valentine's Day and what's acceptable, what would you like to see, what would you like to happen, that what a lot of blokes do is just rubbish.
Yeah, oh, we're
And that,
we're awful, and so even basic skills are kind of put you above the top 50%. If you buy a card, and the worst even a petrol station stuff, that probably puts you in the top 50% of men, and that's pathetic, guys. Pathetic.
when I do a message in a card, I feel the thing. I'm like, I've stuck bits of paper in before, like so that it folds out
Wordsmithing.
the bottom.
Or like one of those kind of things that you do this with when you're
Yeah.
6 and you're kind of unfolding to get more space to write in.
If I'm in love, there's not enough space on the paper. Basically, that's easy. That is absolutely easy. Who wouldn't want to do nice things for someone they're in love with? Blimey.
I look forward to being in that position once again and exploring that in future.
Yeah, totally. And on kind of on a serious note, because look, divorce is not much fun. It's being in a rubbish marriage isn't much fun either. But it's not a flipping walk in the park, single life. So if you're a dad and you're listening to this, and it's hopefully it's been a bit funny, but seriously, appreciate the woman in your life. Like, make her feel special. Do some good stuff for her. Pull your weight. Give her a break. Like, so my friend won't mind me sharing this. He's one of the Team Superdad members, and after his breakup, he was asking me about cooking, and I said, "Well, what did you cook when you were together?" He's like, "Oh, I didn't."
Christ.
I go, "Hang on a minute. I thought you were together 18 years." It was like that joke at the end of Coming to America. He's like, aha. He's like, that's why she had an affair. Okay, cool. No, not the only reason, but clearly, like, we are modern men, modern dads. We live in a world where equality is not such a flipping fight for equality now. It should just be a flipping accepted. Like, of course you're going to go to the shops. Of course you're going to iron your own shirt. Like, learn how to cook, for flipping heck's sake, but also do nice stuff together. And be brave as well. Be brave in what you want from the relationship. Don't resent her and be fed up and pissed off about what you're not getting if you've never asked for it, or if you ask for it and expect it, but you've done nothing for her in the last 364 days, let alone how long you've been together. Then clearly she's not going to be that excited about feeling in love and doing cool stuff for you. So it's a quid pro quo, ever fluid situation. And if you want to feel in love and have an awesome relationship, then take responsibility for your side of things first, before you can start to make any real demands or expectations on the relationship.
I think that's a beautiful way to draw the thing to a close. I think that's a good message that everyone needs to remember.
Yeah, totes. So this has been the wrap up. We are here every week, literally wrapping up our week. We are from the Team Superdad community, real dads creating our best lives ever, living the life we desire, not the life we feel stuck in. And forgot to mention, got a challenge coming up next week, Glenn. It is the Happy and Focused Dad Challenge, 5-day challenge in the Team Superdad group. Free, totally free. 40 to 45 minute live sessions each day on different elements of getting focused, like being really clear on what your morning, evening routines are, communicating better with your partner, and having more fun, not just in your relationship, but in your life. And so, yeah, the 5-day challenge, teamsuperdad.com/happy dad. And that seems to fit in quite appropriate with some of our chit chat today in the wrap up. No, we won't be telling you how. Well, in fact, we will be telling you how to get a blowjob on your Valentine's Day, but in the more general terms of being a happy and focused dad. So come on over and register. It's totally free.
And if anyone does want to share what amazing Valentine's Day presents they either gave or received as well, I'd kind of like to hear something like a top 3 or top 5 best and worst Valentine's gifts that you got this year or gave.
Totally. So if you are, if you've listened to the end of the show, it's like a 20% rule. The people that listen to the end of the show, some of my
they're the real heroes. They are the super dads.
Some of my favorite podcasts, they acknowledge the people that listen all the way to the end. And we feel like a little special club. So welcome to this special club. Send us whatever your favorite social is. You can tweet at a dating dad, or you can tweet at Team Superdad HQ, and Glenn and I will get those there. As for the other socials, Instagram, pretty much the same thing, and Facebook, just search teamsuperdad.com. You'll get the page. Sorry, just search Team Superdad. You'll get the page or the group, or you can like send me an email, whatever it takes. It's all there. Yeah. Send me a love letter. Glenn, great to hang out together as always.
Likewise, and I'm quite relieved that you didn't even mention my haircut. So that means I didn't do a bad haircut from home job by myself.
No,
from the back, I'm sure it just looks like a mullet.
Yeah, probably does. Yeah, very bad from the back. But hopefully, I won't be observing you from the back unless we go on a bike ride.
You know what? At this stage, I'm not even entirely sure that I'd say no.
Epic. Yeah, do that, Dad. So let us know how your Valentine's Day went, and we will name check you on next week's wrap up. Good stuff. Team Superdad out. Bye.
This has been Team Superdad. Find us at teamsuperdad.com. Join the program and create the best life ever for you and your children. You are not alone. You're on Team Superdad.